Hello, this is Michael Centra, author of the sci-fi novella Energia and its upcoming sequel, Care of Existence. The following is some brief commentary on anarchy and its limitations and contradictions. What anarchists are missing about their own proposal to have no government or state is that sometimes large numbers of people want to cooperate under a government. So there is a problem in the anarchist proposal to take away government from all people by abolishing it while calling it freedom. Anarchists are ignoring the possibility that large numbers of people may freely want precisely the kind of mass government of large populations anarchists oppose. And in trying to disallow that kind of government, anarchists are attempting to enforce their own idea of good government upon masses of people. But the burden is on he who objects to a widely supported type of government to renounce their citizenship and dissolve their ties to that government, not to call a popularly accepted form of government tyrannical as an excuse to resort to violent overthrow or abolishment. Even an anarchy is a governing preference that people can favor over and to the exclusion of another, such as statism, that someone else may prefer. Anarchy is just another form of mass government. It's a very low-profile, light-handed type of governing, but it's still people coming together and agreeing on a way they will collectively behave according to their preferences. The only difference is an anarchy is absent any solid or universal agreement over what kind of behavior should be penalized. This means that a particular behavior suffering a penalty under a state may have no penalty under an anarchy other than boycotting and shunning. The objections to being born under a state that anarchists cite, such as having no acting legal contract, are no less problematic for someone born under an anarchy. However, it is not the right of an anarchist to decide for others what represents a valid contract. By saying all large-scale government is bad and all people must be freed from the broad-reaching power of a central authority, anarchists are dictating their own preferences upon large masses of people who may otherwise want such a large centralized governing authority to settle disputes and unify the activity of a large population to promote their collective strength when required. Anarchists can't say they are freeing people and then take away all possibility of those people forming the kind of democratic government or state they oppose. What if I'm a citizen that disagrees with a particular policy of a government, but I agree with the process by which that government debated, approved, and implemented that policy? What if I believe the policy that gets the most votes should be applied upon the population as a whole, even if I still disagree with that policy, as long as avenues are available for the citizen to alter that policy or escape that policy by renouncing their citizenship? By deciding which kind of democratic mass governing can and cannot form into existence, anarchists are disenfranchising me and possibly millions of people from the kind of government they want. That's why the burden and obligation has to be on the complaining citizen to leave a democratic government they find objectionable. The individual citizens complaining about the policies of a democratic government need to either work within the system to pass policies they approve or leave. Furthermore, anarchists do not have to abolish a democratic government to create laws that make it easier for citizens to practice anarchy. In fact, a democratic government where ideas for governing can be suggested, debated, and implemented through a legislative process is there to facilitate the adoption of ideas that the governed would like to see for themselves. You don't have to demonize all government or threaten revolution. You just need to state your case and work for it like anybody else. It seems anarchists are really not objecting to the force involved in democracy, but the work involved. They don't want to do the work that other people have done throughout history to enact all sorts of policies under a democratic government. It's much easier to just say all government is corrupt and bad. Then you don't have to do any work. You don't have to participate in debate and discussion of policy. You don't have to get the approval of or win the appeal of the majority, and the populace your policy of anarchy will be applied upon. Of course, anarchists can skirt around going through debate or requiring anyone's approval by simply renouncing their citizenship, but apparently that option is not appealing to anarchists either. No, the solution is to abolish all forms of mass government except anarchy, which is a contradiction. Anarchists fail to see a democratic state can process all sorts of policies, even policies that make it easier for a citizen to practice anarchy. The state can facilitate more options of freedom. You don't have to destroy, abolish, or dismantle a democratic state and disenfranchise other people from the option and preference of having a democratic state. When it comes down to it, all forms of mass government or non-government are a matter of personal preference, not to be subjected or marginalized by the opposition. And that includes the voluntary formation and existence of a democratic state for resolving disputes of a cooperative population over policy. For any objections based on the idea of the state being an instrument of force, I refer you to my video, Force or Inconvenience.